Season 1, Episode 8 of Helluva Boss is literally everything I wanted in a Helluva Boss episode. It ticks all of the boxes and gets rid of all of the complaints I had in the previous video I made in Helluva Boss. There is a consistency in writing, the characters aren't treating each other like a big reset button was hit. And the characters themselves aren't at all unbearable, the jokes are fine. And this episode goes to show that Luna is by far one of the better characters on the show. You can give all of these characters so much more personality than just haha funny sex joke, and I don't know why they didn't do that for Season 2. Don't get me wrong, this episode also had some flaws, but outside of maybe Kesha's mid-song, everything else was just fine. I have no complaints. If you don't remember what happened in episode 7, basically shit hit the fan between Stolas and Blitz, and this is the first tear in the relationship that we have seen that may have had a huge impact on how they see and treat each other. Luna, outside of being an angsty teen, has come to terms that she isn't a very social person and she's, very aggressive towards people. She understands this and is trying to avoid scenarios that might cause those issues. Queen Bee, aka Beelzebub, aka Kesha, was trying to be friendly to Luna throughout the entire episode, and while Luna may have had some beef with her, she's kind of stepped back and said, you know what, this isn't me, this isn't right, you're just trying to be a good host, and just walks away. This episode shows that Luna might have some internal struggles that she understands. She knows she is a problem, and she is trying to deal with that problem as the best of a way she can, by not talking to people. Granted, it's not a great way to handle the situation, but when Blitz comes onto the scene, she understands that maybe she doesn't have to go all out to have fun and be with other people and hang out. Blitz and Stolas have... Blitz and Stolas. God, this show really got to me if I'm just saying Blitz and Stolas again. He's not even in this episode. Blitz and Luna have had a really good relationship and great chemistry throughout the entirety of this episode. There was no anger, there was no hatred, there was no beating up, there was no overly protective father. It was just a very casual father-daughter experience at a party. Blitz having internal struggles were portrayed well this episode, and having taken place after episode 7 really brings things full circle. He knows that he had a terrible night with Stolas, and he knows that he fucked up in some way, and he's come to the realization that if he keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to end up alone. He knows that he has these problems, and he's trying to make up for it by getting with as many people as he can, because he is, by definition, someone who has dependent personality disorder. He needs someone to be there for him, either emotionally or physically, just to fill a small void in his heart where he could probably better himself as a person. He also wants to be in a relationship with someone to a point where he will drive them away because he fears rejection or what they might think of him once they find out who he really is. This makes it even weirder because during Season 2, you can tell that none of this has ever really affected them in some sort of fashion. It's as if a big reset button has just been pushed at the beginning of Season 2 and everybody forgot about what might have happened in Episode 7 and Episode 8 of Season 1. If the entire show was written like this, like Episode 8, I would be completely fine with the show. The show would actually be great, but this further exacerbates the quality of the writing in the future episodes as seen in Season 2. The only issue I had with this episode was Beelzebub's introduction monologue going for a little bit longer than it should have. But you gotta squeeze those celebrity guest voice lines out as much as possible before they usually never come back to the show. Steven Universe. Anyways, the synopsis of this short little video is that episode 8 is probably the best episode so far. Why they failed to continue on this trend for season 2 is beyond me. 8 out of 10, really solid would-be season finale. Thank you all for listening to this short video. I'll get back to making my next one soon, but I wanted to get this one out as fast as I could to keep up with Daddy Algorithm. Remember to like, sub, and all that jazz, and you'll hear from me later.